So, remember about 2 weeks ago when I said that I wasn't going to bother seeing Paul Blart Mall Cop 2? You do? Well, guess what I remembered? I have family, and they wanted to see a comedy, and there's only one comedy out right now. Which brings us to right now, where I saw a 1 out of 10 film so bad I felt anal trauma afterwards. I'm serious, people. This is one of the worst comedy sequels I have ever seen in my life. But I've already declared 50 Shades of Grey the worst movie of 2015. So instead of just doing a normal review, I thought it would be fun to do an episode of Versus. This is where I take two things that have something worth comparing and seeing which is better and which is worse. In this case, which is the worst movie of 2015? Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 or 50 Shades of Grey? And to do this, I will be comparing the realms of cinematography, characters, story, themes, and the overall appeal of each film. And without further ado, let's get started. For story, you think it would be easy for these movies to nail down what to do. One is a sequel, and one is based off the most popular book of the 21st century so far. So you think it would be easy to just key into what made the previous versions of this thing work. That's where both these movies fail. 50 Shades of Grey does not capture the over-the-top stupidity that made the book hilarious, and Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 doesn't capture the action movie satire of the last one. I liked the first Paul Blart Mall Cop, and I love 50 Shades of Grey for its stupidity. But the thing is, neither of these films capture what worked in either right. However, at least 50 Shades of Grey had a story. It wasn't a good one, it wasn't one I liked, and I thought it could have actually done something with the BDSM instead of just feeling like some weird housewives' creepy sex fantasies. But it didn't. And the thing is that at least it did give something, though. It was clearly stupid, but it was a story. With Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, the plot doesn't even show up till the last 20 minutes. Most of the movie is just him running around like a jackass, and after the umpteenth time of watching this, you don't even care. So when the plot does show up, who gives a shit? There's some subplot about his daughter needing to go to college, but it doesn't fit into the movie or have anything to do with anything. Hell, a lot of tragedy happens to this guy at the beginning of the movie. Doesn't play into anything. There is no plot, there is no story. It's just Kevin James trying to salvage a shitty script. But let's see what else was. Winner, 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. 50 Shades of Grey answers the question, what would porn look like with a big Hollywood budget? At least from a cinematography point of view. The movie looks beautiful. There's this scene in front of the Seattle skyline, and they're naked, and it looks amazing. Nothing else about the movie is amazing except that. Where in Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, in the first movie, like I said, it was an action spoof, and it was shot to look like that, and it looked cool. It was so interesting, and it was so different, and the thing is, whether you like the movie or not, at least it had its own style. The sequel looks like any other movie, which isn't really a bad thing. But for God's sakes, you're shooting this movie in Vegas. Show the Vegas skyline. Show the city at lights. Instead, it's just at a hotel, and it just looks cheap, and it just looks generic, and I just don't have anything else to say about this one. 50 Shades of Grey was good-looking porn. Characters. Characters in both these movies range from shit to boring. And in 50 Shades of Grey, the characters were terrible. She was bland and one-dimensional, though she was acted very well. He actually had a backstory and could have been an interesting character, but he was not acted well, and the character just sort of came across as this creepy psycho. It's not really the actor's fault. I gotta put it on the director and this script. Whereas with Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, in the first movie, I found Paul Blart to be a dumb but a likable dreamer. He wanted bigger ambitions with his life, but he valued what was in front of him and really seemed to care about what was in front of him, rather be his daughter or his job. In the sequel, however, he's a bastard. He's rude, he's selfish, he's crude, he's needy, and it just goes on and on and on. It was 90 minutes that felt like 3 hours, and I just didn't care. However, I will give the point to Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 for having the better characters. Why? His daughter. His daughter in the film gets a lot more screen time in this sequel, and she actually has some decent comedic timing. She has a character to her and a personality, if only just from the fact that I feel so sorry that she's got to live with this fucker. And the thing is that that was enough when your other movie has no personality besides boobs and abs. At the end of the day, these movies have nothing in common. One is trying to be some sort of weird romantic sex drama, and the other is just trying to be a silly family comedy. But the question is, which one actually succeeds at that? Mall Cop 2, I guess. Just because the framework for good comedy was there. I could see how every gag in the movie could have potentially worked. None of them really do. In fact, there's also a lot of jokes that never go anywhere. There's no punchline. They just stop halfway through, where the punchline that should have happened never came. It was just that for 90 minutes. Whereas with 50 Shades of Grey, there's not even an attempt to try and make the themes of the book come to the movie. What are these themes? Nothing! It's a stupid porno! It was funny and stupid because of her narration, and that is gone, so it can't make its themes work, because what at least made the themes fail in the book isn't present here. It's not dramatic because I don't care about anyone. It's not sexy because there's not enough focus on the BDSM. And it's not romantic because these two have no chemistry. At least with Mall Cop 2, I saw where it was going, and I saw how it could have been funny, and you can clearly just tell the script was a mess. I heard a rumor that Kevin James got hung up on another project and wasn't around to help write the script, just came in and put in his touchings before shooting. And that shows, as you just see him struggling to try and get back to this character that has clearly just been taken away with him and just done nothing with. But the thing is, at the very least, it is trying to be a comedy, and I could see how a comedy could come out of this, if only once in a great while. This is the most important category. Why? Because I am one man with one opinion, and there are 7 billion people on this earth, and a lot of them saw both these movies. So the question is, which one actually appeals to people? Because I can like something, and it won't appeal. I have to take into account the general audience, and generally, if this film didn't work for me, did it work for anyone else? Based on most people's reactions, neither of them did. But based on what I know is the truth, and based on what I've seen of other people, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is the better movie, if only for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, the Happy Madison audience. Yes, we all joke and call them stupid. But they're not. I know they're not. I walked out of this movie, the whole theater was happy, my family was happy, I wasn't. But the thing is that that's okay. They had fun with this movie. They weren't looking for anything, they just wanted a silly time, and they got that. The Happy Madison audience just wants to have that silly time with humor that works for them. I don't see it, and a lot of other people don't. But I understand that. And Adam Sandler understands that, so he just makes every movie that comes out of his company to only appeal to this very small group of people. Is that a good thing? Hell no. He should be trying to evolve as a filmmaker and trying to do better work, but he's not going to, and I just have to accept that. And I do. It worked for its audience, whereas 50 Shades of Grey, I don't know who it was made for. For the people who read the book, and let's be real here, no one who read the book took it seriously. No one thinks this is reality or has anything to do with real BDSM. We just wanted this batshit stupid book to hit the big screen. And it didn't. It tried too hard to be a legitimately good movie. And because of this, it just can't appeal to anyone, because any appeal of it is gone. It's a horrible script, it's horribly acted, it's horribly directed, but instead of actually being like a good horribly directed movie, it tries so damn hard to transcend and fight its source material. That's all I can think about watching it. At least with Mall Cop 2, it was fine being shit. And it let itself be shit. And the people who liked it, look, they knew it was shit too, but it at least appealed to their ability to enjoy bad movies. And that, in its own way, works. And even if I don't understand it, I understand what the people who saw it liked. And that is why Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is the better movie. 50 Shades of Grey is still the worst movie of 2015. But around Christmas time, I already have a feeling what my 1 and 2 worst movies of the year. Granted, I haven't seen Terminator Genesis yet. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on both these movies, which ones you thought were the worst, or what categories you thought really made one way or the other for you with these movies. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe, and if you need me, I'll be getting drunk to forget these movies ever happened.